And the winner is Rocky, Irwin Winkler and Robert Chardoff, producers.
November of 1976 saw the release of Rocky in the USA, but it wasn't released in the UK until April of 1977. Rocky was produced on a tiny budget of $1.1 million and took a staggering $225 million at the box office, making it one of the most successful movies of 1976, and also achieved the second highest grossing movie of 1977, eventually winning 3 Oscars for Best Picture, Best Editing, and Best Director. The movie was directed by John G. Alveston, who went on to direct the Karate Kid trilogy as well as Rocky V, which is considered the weakest entry in the series, and he also directed The Power of One, starring Morgan Freeman. The screenplay was written by Sylvester Stallone in apparently 3 days, after he was inspired by a match between Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wepner in 1975, and he sold the script for $350,000 to United Artists, with producers Irvin Winkler and Robert Chartoff on board. Stallone insisted as part of the deal that he played the lead role of Robert Rocky Balboa, but the studio and the producers were hesitant as they thought a big name like Robert Redford or Burt Reynolds would be better for marketing the movie. But Stallone stood his ground, and the producers agreed if the movie had a lower budget, this would be easier for the studio to fund. This was a shrewd move, as Stallone was down to his last few dollars and was even trying to sell his dog at the time, who appears in the movie as Butkus, as he couldn't afford to feed him. The payoff kick-started his career. Sylvester was nominated for Best Actor for his portrayal in Rocky, but lost out to Peter Finch for his role in Network.
So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
This is a long way from where Stallone's career had started, such as low-budget productions, such as Roger Corman's Death Race 2000. Stallone has gone on to build a reputation for being a big hitter in Hollywood, starring, writing, and directing some of the biggest movies throughout the last 4 decades, playing iconic action heroes such as John Rambo in the First Blood franchise. He was praised for his role in Copland, missing out on an Oscar again, and he has gone on to produce movies more recently like The Expendables. Talia Shire stars as Rocky's love interest, Adrian, the incredibly shy pet shop worker and sister to Rocky's friend Paulie. Talia is best known for this role, but also starred previously for her brother, Francis Ford Coppola, in The Godfather and its sequels, which she was Oscar nominated for. She starred in all the Rocky sequels, including Rocky V, but her character was killed off in the 6th movie, Rocky Balboa, in 2006. The highly respected character actor Burgess Meredith stars as the owner and trainer of Mighty Mick's gym, Mickey Goldman. As well as his role in Rocky, he has had a long, successful career, starring in the 1939 version of Mice and Men, playing George Milton, but for many will be remembered for playing the Penguin in the Adam West Batman TV series, and the 1981 Desmond Davis movie Clash of the Titans, as well as narrating the Twilight Zone movie in 1983. He passed away in 1997, at the ripe old age of 89. Carl Weathers plays the formidable Apollo Creed, the heavyweight champion of the world, looking for his opponent after his original contender pulled out of the bicentennial celebration bout. Carl appeared, of course, up until Rocky IV and starred opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator in 1987, and some of the less remembered movies like Action Jackson from 1988. Burt Young plays Paulie, Adrian's alcoholic and troubled brother who lets Rocky train in the meatpacking factory. He's probably best known for this role, but previously had starred with Jack Nicholson on Chinatown in 1974, and also starred in the Amityville horror sequel, and is a busy working character actor and is still working to this day. He was last seen playing Paulie in Rocky Balboa. James Crabb provided the great cinematography that, although wasn't the first film to use the Steadicam system, that was more than likely held by Marathon Man the year previous. It did utilise it to its potential. As the Steadicam inventor Garrett Brown worked on most of the camera work using the system. As the budget was tight, the production used a guerrilla style of filmmaking, as they didn't have the permits. They would jump out of the production van and shoot scenes where possible, such as Rocky training through the streets of Philadelphia and running up the art museum steps. While shots like Rocky running with the ship in the background weren't planned and were all done improvised, as Stallone was a fast runner. James Crabb went on to provide the cinematography for the first two Karate Kid movies, but passed away of AIDS-related complications in 1989. Part of Rocky's success was the fantastic score provided by Bill Conti, from its opening fanfare to the tender love story cues, to the unforgettable training montages. It's hard to imagine the movie without it. When the Going to Fly Now track kicks in, who doesn't want to don a grey sweatsuit and get fit? Bill went on to score The Karate Kid and its sequels, and James Bond for Your Eyes Only, and the canon production of the unforgettable Masters of the Universe in 1987, which also links to Rocky series, as it stars Ivan Drago himself, Dolph Lundgren, as He-Man. Rocky is an incredible piece of screenwriting, as all the characters are incredibly written, and you find yourself emotionally involved due to the great performances delivered through Alverston's great direction. Like many lower budget movies that have been hugely successful, this is down to the creative process of a lower budget. Scenes like Rocky and Adrian's date at the ice rink was envisaged to be when the rink was open, full of skaters. However, it was cheaper to film without the extras, so this simple choice added great character moments to this scene. Mistakes during production were dealt with as script adjustments from Stallone, such as when Rocky's shorts were the wrong colour on the promotion poster, or when the dressing gown was too big, which was actually made too big by the production team, as well as such moments as when Rocky tells his admission of his fear to Adrian the night before the fight, were done in one take, as the budget wasn't able to afford another take. All show how much passion Stallone had for this character. The movie didn't, however, go without criticism, as it was accused of glamorizing gangsters due to Rocky's loan shark role. I never really looked at it like this. Obviously, this is Philadelphia of the struggling 70s, and Stallone definitely shows that his character is doing what he needs to do to survive. His character has a heart of gold, shown for his love of the main characters and how he's well respected. It's a typical rag to riches tale, an underdog Cinderella story. I love the relationship between Rocky and his hot-headed trainer Mick. They are so well done and heartfelt. It's interesting to note how this movie's success sits right between Jaws and Star Wars in 1977, as Jaws and Star Wars were credited with the launch of the new Hollywood New Wave cinema. Rocky sits as a linchpin set in the 70s grit of the time, of the three-piece suit mob bosses and fight promoters and run-down industrial cities, pounding meat in the meatpacking district, but with a light-hearted hero at its centre. Are a far cry from where the series moved into the Reagan-era cinema of 1985, seen in Rocky IV, with its consumerism and Cold War setting, and Paulie's so-called sex robot. I was happy with Rocky Balboa's closing of the franchise in 2006. I thought it was a great way of saying goodbye to the character after the dismal Rocky V in 1990. However, all good characters never really disappear, and Stallone was invited to reprise his iconic role in Ryan Coogler's side sequel Creed in 2015. Although not written by or directed by Stallone, this movie follows Apollo Creed's illegitimate child Adonis. The plot follows a lot of beats from the original movie, and was so well received that Stallone won a Golden Globe as Best Supporting Actor for his portrayal of an aging Rocky. Its sequel, which is written by Stallone, will see the return of Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago and his son taking on Adonis Creed in Creed 2. I would recommend that you do your homework and start off where it all began in 1976 if you haven't watched this Oscar-winning classic. Rocky and its sequels were a huge part of my life growing up, and it's amazing that the character is still going strong today with Stallone's great performances.
way to...
You can't do it. That's my friend. He's everything. My friend, he's your friend. Come on. You're breaking the jack. Come on, let's go, buddy. Come on.
Molly?
Adrian! Adrian!
Rocky!
Adrian!
Rocky!
Hey, where's your hat?
I love you!
I love you.
I love you! I love you! I love you!
Once again, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you enjoy my content. If you do, please consider subscribing to the channel, and please click the bell notification to keep up to date with all my latest content. And if you'd like to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, please do so. Once again, thanks for watching, and please leave some comments and like this video. Thanks a lot, take care, and I'll speak to you guys soon.